Peter chapter 2, and we're looking at verses 1 to 3. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Now please, for those of us who are in Lagos, and for those of us in the various states, never commit Deeper Life Bible Church to an outside preacher without checking up from the general superintendent. Now in Lagos here, you may meet a preacher outside. He's American, he's German, he's a European, is an Asian, is an African, is a militant, powerful, great evangelist in Nigeria. All right, that's fine. God is his judge. God is his Lord. I'm not his Lord. But however good he is, however wonderful he is, please don't commit Deeper Life as a church to that preacher. Before you contact the general superintendent, don't say, oh, our church has open doors. You are such a wonderful preacher. I'm sure that you can preach in our church. No, you are not sure. You are not sure. You will be disappointed if you do that. As a general superintendent, as the coordinator of the house fellowship, anybody, if you committed Deeper Life Bible Church in Lagos here to an American, to a European, to a German, to anybody, and you told the person he will preach if he comes to our church, you'll be surprised that since I, the leader, the pastor, the teacher, the evangelist, the apostle, if you like, in that church, I did not give that go-ahead. If the person comes and prepares his message, I'll just say, I'm sorry. I'll prefer an area leader that has not studied theology, but as is born again. I know his life. I know his marriage. I know his sincerity. I know he's not covetous. I know that he's on his way to heaven. I'll prefer the area leader to take over the pulpit from me and preach the gospel, rather than have that man, I don't know where he's coming from. He may preach well, I don't know about his marriage. He may preach well, I don't know the source of his power. He may be healing the sick. I like to get near him because I know that healing takes place in various ways. I'd like to make sure that that man is healing the sick on the basis of the name and the stripes of Jesus Christ alone. I don't want to deceive myself that somebody is opening the eyes of the blind, somebody is getting this done. I want to know that it's not involved with magical books. I want to make sure that it's not involved with depending upon another power. I want to make sure it's not depending on ESP, extrasensitive perception. A man is, using the word of knowledge, and he calls them out. That doesn't interest me. In fact, in the meeting I attended recently, all the time that man was preaching and praying and letting the lame rise, I opened my eyes. You are not going to put me in a bag anywhere. You are not going to bundle me up and deceive me with a miracle anywhere. You are not going to deceive me with the word of knowledge anywhere. I opened my eyes. I wanted to see what they're doing. I wanted to see what is really going on. Because I'm not looking for cheap miracles. I'm not looking for just blind eyes getting opened. So please, don't commit Deeper Life as a church to an evangelist somewhere, to a preacher somewhere. Well, does that mean that nobody else can preach in our church? Well, I'm not saying that. If we know them, if we know they're standing on the truth, if we know they're living by the truth, if we know them so well that after we have exposed him to our people to him, that they will not do something later that our people will lose their faith and say, if this dynamic man is like this, how is it now he has divorced his wife? That's why we're very, very careful. We're not looking for cheap popularity. We're not looking for any other thing except just the will of the Lord and the will of the Lord alone. Now, you as pastors, sometimes we have difficulties with pastors, that they will invite other people to preach. Now, please, All these people that I'm talking about, they may even be better than I am. I don't know. In the sight of God, they may be greater, more acceptable to God than I am. I don't know. All these big names we have in Nigeria, maybe they are closer to God than I am. I don't know. But I will only act on what I know. If I don't know that man, if I don't know his moral life, if I don't know his spiritual life, if I don't know his marital life, if all I know is his ability to talk, if all I know is just the outward advertised type of personality, that's not enough for me to bring him to my congregation to come and preach. He can come and listen. He can come and worship. He can come and stay in the fellowship. But before I can bring that man to preach, I will need to know more than his ability to speak. It's not grammar. It's not his theology. It's his life. And I like other people also to use the same yardstick to judge me. I don't like people that, will just call me and say, come and preach to our church if they don't know me. I'm not telling them to do something for me which I'm not willing to do for them. I'm not willing to bring anybody to my own congregation and speak if I don't know him. And I do not expect any other person to bring me to his congregation. If they do it, that's their problem. But I don't expect them to do it and then bring me over to their congregation when they don't know my life. They don't know whether the woman I'm bringing that is traveling along with me, they don't know whether she is my wife or not. They won't even check her. They won't even check her. It's not their problem to them. If you come with a woman now and then another meeting you go with another woman again, they won't even check her. I don't like congregations like that. I will just open the doors of their congregation to a preacher without knowing the life of the preacher. And then that means then too that you as preachers of the gospel, if people are inviting you to come and do this and to come and do that, you should understand, why are they inviting you? Is it because you are just one of the prophets, false prophets they are running after? It says in the last days, they shall bring in damnable heresies. Damnable heresies. Now, if you bring in somebody, and then the person you are bringing in has damnable heresy, for example, somebody who gave me a particular Bible. And this Bible that he gave me, he printed it, overseas. And he said, oh, this Bible is wonderful, this Bible is wonderful. Look at the references, look at this, and I printed it, I did this. And he was talking to me as if, he was the person that did all the references, all the concordance and everything, and the index and the study materials inside the Bible. I looked at the Bible. I said that this is Oxford edition of the King James Version. This is, what the Oxford people have put together. Oh, yes, he said, nobody actually does it on its own. You just get permission from these people. I said, that's what I'm saying. He told me a lie. But I'm not an illiterate. I've studied the Bible, I've studied a lot, I've read a lot. And when I pick up a Bible and I just open the inside, I know whether it's coming from Collins or it's coming from the Tyndale, it's coming from this, it's coming from that. Just opening and reading. And then he said, oh yes, we'll print it. It's better than Dick, it's better than this. I said, wait a minute, it's not yours, it's Oxford. Oh, he said, yes, it's because I said, that's what I'm saying. But since that time, I knew his level of maturity, of sincerity, of understanding. That thing may look small, but I can see it right there. Many people don't understand. Many people can't see through the shallowness, the superficiality of people, just on the surface, the way they operate. And these people eventually will bring in damnable heresy. Somebody gave me a book on diet. And he said that, this food and this food. And the way he was talking, I said, then he said in the Old Testament, God knows a lot of chemistry, a lot of, if there's decomposition on this. I said, wait a minute, are you for Christ or for the Jews? Because he was already going in the Jewish dietary laws. Now, if you don't know that, because that man is talking about sanctification, because he's talking about holiness, because he's talking about things that you also talk about, you bring him and he brings damnable heresies into the fellowship. These are the last days. And the dangers are very, very much. That's why you should be very vigilant. Your eyes open, your mind open to the real truth. And it says in verse 2, many